Hey friends, I hope this is finding you well. I want to tell you real quick about our latest sponsor, SK Kratom. Now, if you're over the age of 18 and are not familiar with Kratom, listen up. Kratom is natural. It's a leaf of a tropical evergreen tree mainly found on the island of Borneo. And some people would say that it is kind of like a cup of coffee. Gage, have you tried Kratom? You said that you've tried that in the past?
Yeah, I used to take Kratom a lot whenever I was going to school. It helped me, calm down, but it's also kind of like a stimulant. So I felt that it helped me a little bit get through my day when I was in university.
Interesting. Well, most Kratom consumers like Gage have said that's an alternative to dangerous and addictive pharmaceuticals, so that's interesting. Kratom has also been scientifically proven to be safe. SK Kratom is the best in the business. They have been a top Kratom supplier for over 6 years and traveled to even Indonesia numerous times to see how and where their suppliers operate, so they were able to weed out bad products and suppliers. SK put the effort in, so you are getting the best possible product. SK operates as a legitimate herbal supplement business with rigorous standards to ensure the consumer has the highest quality, safest product, including testing by third-party FDA consultants to prove the quality of SK Kratom. So go to soapcorner.com and use the promo code WONDERS30 for 30% off your first order of $35 or more. That's Soapcorner, SOAPKORNER.com, and code WONDERS30 for 30% off at soapcorner.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. This product is not for use or sale by any person under the age of 18. This product should be used only as directed on the label. It should not be used if you're pregnant or nursing. Consult with a physician before use if you have serious medical condition or use prescription medications. A doctor's advice should be sought before using this and any supplemental dietary product.
SK Kratom, go get some, homies. Well, I'm very excited for this episode today with my pal, Joe List. We did the call while he was in New York and I was in LA. We did a little remote podcast, so I hope you enjoy. He's got a new special out. We talk about that. And there's a lot of fun little characters and scenes and vignettes, and he closes it out with a phenomenal sax talk. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. If you're not familiar with Joe, check him out on YouTube. Like I said, Joe List, his new special is called I Hate Myself. It's free. Go watch it right after you watch this episode of Jeremiah Wonders. And check out the shirt that I'm wearing. This is my buddy Brady Matthews' shirt. It's a Chris Farley shirt, if you can see that. He's selling those on his page on Instagram. He's a good buddy. And speaking of shirts, I will have a new merch site up and running soon. I know you guys have been asking about it, so I will let you know when that drops. And then I'm back on tour, so check my Instagram and Twitter for updates on touring. But I will be in Minneapolis as well as Lexington, Kentucky in the month of August, and I'll be adding more dates as the year goes on and trying to do safe and social distance shows. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Leave a comment below, a like, that helps. Subscribe, leave a review on iTunes. Push this baby to the top. Without further ado, please welcome Joe List to Jeremiah Wonders.
Can I get a check
some sound
from
checks
your side, Joe?
Yeah, sure. Hey, I'm Joe List, and for breakfast, I had a whole wheat bagel with organic peanut butter, and I put it right inside my ass.
Joe List on the podcast today. Very excited. He just released a 1 hour special on the YouTubes for free. You can watch it now. It's called I Hate Myself. Please welcome my pal Joe List to the show.
Thank you, everybody. Happy to be here. And, well, thank you. I don't care about the people listening.
No. The people listening, they voted you in, Joe. So it's very special that you're here.
I wanted to amend that. It's not that I don't care about them. I care about them. I hope they're well, but I don't feel like I have to thank them. But if they voted for me to be here, then I will thank them also.
Yeah, we took a poll. I said, who do you want to come on the show? People kept saying Joe List. I've had your pal Mark Norman. Both of you guys do Tuesdays with Stories, great podcast together. And they're like, we've had our Mark Norman fill. Where's our Joe List? So I wanted to, fulfill the other half of that.
Well, I appreciate that. I feel like I got off to a really bad start. And in my head, I'm spinning out of control. I appreciate all the people listening. I love them. I'm grateful. And I hope none of them die anytime soon.
Yeah, that was heartfelt. That was sincere, and I appreciate it. I think everybody took that word for word to heart what you just said. So I appreciate that message.
Yes, I care deeply about each and every listener.
Now, sometimes what we usually don't do sound checks on the podcast. We did one before, and I gave you an intro after we had already kind of greeted. That's kind of what's weird about podcasting is we had already been talking for a bit, and then I gave you that intro, And your sound check is one of my favorite sound checks that I've had on a show here in a bit. Do you remember what you said for your sound check?
Yeah, well, I said, so I was taught to test sound by saying what you had for breakfast, because a lot of times people will just say, hello, hi. And so it's easier to say what you had for breakfast. But then I still have the comedy thing going where I feel like I'm bombing, even though I'm just testing sound. So I said I had a whole wheat bagel with organic peanut butter, and then I stuck it up my ass, because I felt like I had to do something humorous, and funny to me is things in your ass.
Well, that's kind of what I appreciate about you and your fellow New York comic friends is I think that like you guys are so good about punchlines and jokes at all times. Like I wasn't expecting a punchline, but I was pretty delighted that you decided to put one in there. I was like, oh, this is this is going to be a good episode.
Yeah, I came to play. Even my sound check, I'm bringing the heat. And by bringing the heat, I mean, talking about putting bagels in my asshole.
Dude, this is the quality content that the listeners want and that they voted you in for that specific reason.
Yeah, that's what people need. By the way, do you know why they call it a bagel?
Why do they call it a bagel?
It's because otherwise it would be a seagull. You see, because the bay and the sea are similar. That's a joke I remember from a joke book when I was 9.
We had book fairs at my school, and I remember buying joke books and being like, oh, this is great. This is solid. This is solid material right here. I'm gonna be funny at recess. This is great.
I think that joke I just quoted is probably from one of those books at one of those book fairs for sure.
Probably so.
I know a million like that. Another one of my favorites is how many skunks does it take to stink up a room?
How many?
Few.
You and Mark have the perfect cadence to do those kind of jokes and me be delighted every single time because you guys have like this classiness, this classic tone in your voice, like this tonal quality. I can't really explain it other than like I feel like we could transplant you and Mark in almost any era and you'd be fine. You know what I mean? Like if you went back in time, then it wouldn't be an issue where other people would be like, why does that person talking with this slang or whatever? You I don't know, you have this quality in your voice where when you say jokes, it's kind of like a timeless quality. Has anybody ever told you that?
Not quite in that way, but I appreciate it. I get a lot of radio voice things, and you should do voiceovers and sports and such like and things like that. But yeah, I like the old school style. Now I'm going into sexy voice.
Oh yeah. Anytime you start getting a little bit more breathy, then that's universal for I want to have sex with you. I am out of breath.
That's what I'm here for. I'm trying to have sex with you specifically.
Well, it's freaking working, dude. It's freaking working.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
So I watched your special, and I'm gonna tell you how I watched it because this is probably a unique way that I consumed it. The first 10 minutes I watched on YouTube, which I implore everybody to do right now. It's free. It's awesome. And I'm just me as a comic. I'm more of the way I write and craft jokes. It's very based on act outs and physicality and stuff like that. So I always appreciate guys like yourself who are more of traditional joke writers with setup punch because there's so many jokes. There's like literally hundreds of jokes and punchlines in your hour special, which is really, as a viewer, like great to watch. So I want to compliment you on that before I tell you how I consumed it. But first 10 minutes watched on YouTube. Then the rest of it, the next 20 minutes, I went on a hike, listened to it, and then my internet went out because it was going up this steep hill. And then I listened to Enya for 20 to 30 minutes. And then on the way back down, I finish it out with Joe List, I Hate Myself. So there you go. That was
I
my
appreciate
morning.
that.
That was my morning.
That's a beautiful morning, and that's kind of a nice way to interject some Enya. I mean, people have done that before where they have comedy albums with like musical interstitials.
Yeah.
And I might hit her up and see if I can get her to do my next hour.
I mean, if you have a joke, maybe I can do some Enya. Maybe I can sing some Enya and see if the blending. If you have any more of those silly jokes from a joke book, I'll try to do some Enya in the background lightly while you tell a joke.
Oh, I'm happy to do that. I mean, when? Tell me when. I got one locked and loaded.
Okay, I got Enya locked and loaded. So whenever you're ready.
A grasshopper walks into a bar, and the grasshopper says, "Hey," and the bartender says, "We have a drink named after you." And the grasshopper says, "You have a drink called Steve?"
People are still laughing at this point, so I'm padding it with more Enya than even after the punchline hit.
Sure. So you see, because the grasshopper's name is Steve.
Keep tagging it. Be an unconfident comedian that doesn't think the crowd gets it, and keep tagging it while Enya plays.
And grasshopper is a kind of drink. So the bartender is saying, "We have a drink named after you," as in there's a drink called grasshopper. However, the grasshopper, he doesn't feel that it's unusual for a grasshopper to walk into a bar. So he thinks the bartender means Steve, which is the grasshopper's actual name. Of course, it's unusual for a grasshopper to have a name. So there's a lot of layers here in this joke, if you think about it.
Dude, that's a killer combo right there.
I think that was pretty great. I mean, because you kind of described it as, you watch me for a while, then you switch to Enya. We just went both the same time. We kind of combined the two together.
Yeah. Yeah, we that's a true like blend of comedy and music right there.
Yeah,
but now I'm going to tell people to do this with your special now. I want you to take a video of this if you're at home, and I want you to tag Joe List and I on Instagram or Twitter on this. I want you to put in one tab on your browser Enya playing softly, lower volume, and then Joe's jokes in another tab of his YouTube special, and then tag us in a video and send it, and I'll repost it because I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. I like it. By the way, explaining that joke actually was an enjoyable exercise for me because I did realize it was quite a layered piece of material, the grasshopper.
You start like contemplating every joke that you told as a kid, like in that joke book that you got from the fair, and you're like, these are brilliant. What have I been thinking all this time?
Yeah, I think Bill Burr used to do a bit about how there's somebody who wrote all these jokes, and they're really a brilliant writer. Like somebody had to have, an actual person came up with these jokes, and they're pretty great.
Yeah, I'm always curious who submitted the jokes, like on the popsicle sticks, and then like who are the writers for like the Snapple facts and stuff like that. Like I'm like, who are these ghost writers who, they don't get credit anywhere on the bottle or anything like that? Like who are these people?
Yeah, I think the joke that Burr used was, what's the difference between a Jew and a canoe? A canoe tips. And then Burr did a thing where he's like, do you understand that's better than anything I ever fucking wrote in my life? And that was kind of the bit.
That a joke is really solid when another comedian can just literally recite. You just explained to me another comic's joke, and I'm like, yeah, that's solid right there. That's good.
Right. Yeah, it's a good bit. He's very good, Bill Burr.
He's a good one. When did you shoot your special? Because I know obviously a lot of stuff is shut down right now, but It's awesome. Like I was stoked as soon as I saw that you were posting about that you were releasing it. I was like, oh, this is great. When did you end up shooting that?
I shot it on March 2nd, and I know the date because I looked it up earlier because somebody else asked, and I was curious. Yeah, March 2nd, and then New York basically shut down March 12th, so like 10 days before everything went down.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really grateful that I got it done because that material, like I just wouldn't even remember any of it now. So I just kind of slipped it in under the wire.
Yeah, I'm doing my first weekend headlining on the road since all this stuff started happening this coming weekend, and I'm a little bit nervous because I'm definitely, I usually do an hour each show, and I'm gonna have to study my own material to get my chops back up to where it was, because I was used to doing it like pretty much every night of the week, and now I haven't done comedy like at all like since the pandemic.
Yeah, it's weird. I've done a few shows, and you're definitely in the middle of it. You're like, I don't know how this goes.
Yeah.
And like a few times I've just set up jokes and then been like, all right, that's that. And then people are like, but what happened? What happened to the lady's tits? I don't get it. But yeah, it's tricky. You got to listen to some sets for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some homework, brushing up a little bit before I get back to it. So you do an awesome podcast with our pal Mark Normand, and I feel like I have a pretty solid Mark Normand, and who would be better to judge it than you yourself? You spend so much time with him, so I figured we could maybe do like a mock Tuesdays with Stories right now and see if I pass your Mark Normand impression test. What do you think?
I love this. I'm excited.
All right, here we go. Yeah, fake banner. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah, sure. No, canoe.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to come in there.
Hey, Joe. Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Little hungover, a little gay, doing okay.
It's not bad. You seem a little off.
You know what's wild? Jizz in pants. Have you heard about this? Jizz in pants. I don't know how it happened. Some gay guy jizzed in my pants. I don't know what's going on. How you doing? I mean, how did the jizz get in there? I don't know. I mean, come on, Joe. I mean, we gotta get some questions going on here. We gotta get some answers. We gotta get some feedback.
You went a little Dennis Miller towards the end there.
I did. I apologize. I don't know where that went.
Yeah, we're now into full Dennis Miller. You okay, babe? But I thought it was pretty good. It's not the worst Norman impression I've seen. I've definitely seen worse.
Not the worst.
No, it's pretty good.
I'll take it. Out to lunch. Check it out. YouTube. You queer? I like the little asides that he does. That's a good Mark thing. He told which we'll do with you at the end of the podcast. He did a sax talk segment where he talked about getting a blowjob while a lady cut his hair at the same time. So it was that was an entertaining story.
Oh wow, is that when he lost his virginity? I don't know if I know that story. I know he lost his virginity in a salon of some kind, but that might have been another.
That was it. Yeah. I don't think he has multiple hair salons. If he does, maybe he gets around even more than I thought. Who knows?
He might. I mean, I think the periods in his life when he was single, it was pretty wild. I think it got a little out of control.
Oh yeah, but you yourself, you are a married guy, right? How long have you been married for?
I've been married for 3 years, but we've been together for 9, which I always feel like I have to say that. So because people, they're like, oh, 3 years, you don't even know what's going on there. And I'm like, no, we've been together a decade. Fuck off.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I've been with my wife. We've been married now over a couple years, but we've been together over 10 years. So it's kind of similar boat.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying it very much. Are you enjoying it?
I actually enjoy it a lot. I think that there's way more benefits to being married as a comedian than not being married. I think that it's one of those things where it's very nice to, be able to go out on the road and then come home to a life that has nothing to do with comedy. It's like really refreshing. And really it's grounded me a lot over the years. Just certain expectations and stuff of being in a relationship rather than being a single guy pursuing comedy. Because when I started off stand-up, I started off as just a single guy who moved out from Kansas to LA, and it was just like that. And then she just, happened to meet her along the way, and I was like, all right, okay. This is the one.
Yeah, see, that sounds delightful. My wife is a comedian also, so it's actually just a great big nightmare as far as that is concerned.
I actually wasn't aware that your wife is a comedian. I actually didn't know that about you.
Yeah, my wife is Sarah Silverman. We've been married for 4 years. You know her. She's been like the Ben Stiller movies.
I think I've heard of her. Yeah. She's been she had like her own like program and stuff like too, right?
Yeah, that was mine. I wrote that. I created it.
Did you write that?
And
or were you the EP on that?
I was everything. Director, EP, and
Couldn't get me a job, homo.
No, my wife is Sarah Talamash, who's a comedian.
Awesome.
She just put out an album. Yeah, she's wonderful. Very nice person. We roasted each other.
What was that like? Because I like to keep my wife completely separate and out of comedy, and even I really don't even post that much social media wise with my wife, just because I kind of like to keep those worlds separate. So I'm pretty interested to hear you like actually roasting. That's like pretty personal. That's literally like an episode of a storyline of Crashing.
Yeah, I think we did it first too, or maybe they did it first. I don't know, but we're better than them, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, as human beings, of course. But no, it was fun. I mean, we wrote jokes. I hope this is okay to reveal, but we wrote jokes together, and we had some of our friends write with us. So we kind of went in being like, okay, those are your jokes, these are my jokes, because you don't want to find out that you have a horrible dick or something from your wife at a roast battle, you know what I mean? Or that you have bad breath or some shit. So we kind of prepped together and went in together as kind of a team.
Yeah, well, did both of you hold true to that, where you stuck to the script? Like you didn't sneak in any joke, like any curveballs or anything like that?
No, we did a pretty good job of kind of sticking to it. Maybe I improvised a couple like quips or whatever, but nothing. Like at one point, Anthony Jeselnik, I think, said, I had never heard of you. And I was like, nobody has, stuff like that, but nothing crazy.
And then she talks to you afterwards. You're like, I was riffing. I don't know. It just came over me. I promise. That wasn't in the original.
I didn't mean to call you a fat, ugly cunt. I was riffing.
It's just something off the top of my head. I don't know where it came from.
But no, it was good. It was fun. I mean, we had a good time with it.
That's awesome. Yeah, some of my favorite jokes that you told in your special were just relationship stuff with your wife, and also some of your jokes about your aunt, and then just your you have a chunk like kind of on doctors and stuff like that. Those were my my favorite parts of your special.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. All true. And my dentist, I had to thank my dentist because I see him so often, and I just trashed him for like 10 minutes in there. And so I put him in the thank yous, and I'm going there Thursday. I'm a little nervous that he's going to give me some extra business because I shit all over him on TV.
Dude, hopefully he gives you a discount, because that would be like the best full circle thing to all of it.
It would be nice. You would think I would. I mean, I spent so much money there that he offered to whiten my teeth for free. And I actually just found it insulting that after like $20,000 worth of dental work, he was like, "And you have yellow teeth." But so I'll see him Thursday. I'll get the scoop on how he feels about it.
You're like, this is the sickest burn anybody could have hit me with. It's like, hey, before you do that special, I'm gonna whiten those teeth on me. It's complimentary.
He did. By the way, I said no to it because I heard that it hurts a little bit, like when you get your teeth white, because they fucking like stain them or whatever.
They're very it's very sensitive. So sometimes if you get your teeth whitened for like a week or so, when you go to drink water or anything that is either just extreme temperatures, it's very sensitive on your teeth.
But it goes away.
It does go away. Yeah.
All right.
I've had my
maybe
teeth
I'll-
whitened like in the past before, so I'm speaking from experience on this.
All right.
Welcome
maybe
back
I
to
should.
Teeth Whitening Talk with Joe List.
Hi, I'm Joe List, and I'm afraid to have my teeth whitened. This is our show, episode 485. Should
Now-
I whiten my teeth?
Now, every episode, we dive deep into teeth.
Whitening. Teeth whitening. Don't even get me started on that, Joe. Because teeth whitening, you shouldn't be as scared of at all. You should dive right deep into that teeth whitening.
I am scared of getting my teeth whitened. As you know, as we've been doing this for 450 weeks, I continue to be a little apprehensive.
Now, one of these episodes, I'm going to convince you. I just know it.
Maybe I'll just try to brush harder still.
No, that's bad for your gums.
and so forth. And that's why it's been going on for 400 episodes.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour show times 400 episodes. Someday.
Yeah, for sure. I want to get into this next segment with you. It's called Fanning Out.
Questions from fans.
So basically, I reached out to people on social media. They reached right back, and I said, you got any questions or any potential scenes or characters that you'd like to see Joe List do? And one that came up consistently was your Ultimate Warrior character. I'm guessing this started off on I've never seen this personally, but it's funny. Years ago, this is literally I've done this a couple times now. I've done like an Ultimate Warrior impression, the wrestler, and just as is for like a couple roasts and stuff like that. And when I had on my full thing, multiple comments, and this was like years ago when I've done it, and then I did it like probably 6 months ago. Both times, a bunch of people listed like in the comments are like, have you seen Joe List's Ultimate Warrior? And I have yet to see it yet, so I'd love to get a little preview or taste if not putting you on the spot too much.
Oh, sure. So it's a character I did. It's basically me, but if I was wearing Ultimate Warrior face paint and a ridiculous wig and just a little more worried than normal. It's very similar to the Chris Farley show, that old sketch. Except instead of delightfully dumb, I'm just really scared. And so I'll ask somebody a question and then go, as they're answering, I say, do you think I have cancer? Stuff like that. It's kind of that ilk. It's not really any kind of character I have to get into. It's very similar to me, but with face paint and no shirt.
Okay, I get it. There's links online, right?
Yeah, you can watch. I feel like that was very disappointing because it's not like there's no performance.
Right.
It's very subtle.
It's like it's a big part of the joke is the visual of you in this, and then you're like, yeah, you're whirring as the Ultimate Warrior. I get it. It's funny.
It's pretty much me in underwear and shoelaces on my arms and a big stupid wig. But it's pretty funny. It's weird. Like it's got a really small following, but very loyal. People that like it really love it.
The couple times that I've done my Ultimate Warrior impression, I blew my throat out both times just from yelling so much. Like, I don't know how some of those wrestlers did that, like night after night, without completely just losing their voice permanently. It's crazy. I guess that's why some of them sound like a little nutty now, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, like doing a Macho Man Randy Savage impression for like 20 seconds. Forget about it. I have to take a week off of work, folks. I don't know why I went into a character at the end there.
No,
I realized as I was saying it, I sounded like a cheesehead, so I just went with that.
No, I think that since these are from people who are inquiring about this, I think you should end it all with addressing it like it's a weird audience that you're performing in front of. Adding tags like you wouldn't know the half of it.
Woo! I did not get the memo, if you know what I mean, folks.
And that's when she pulled out on me. What?
Woo! I've had sex with my father.
Literally, you're just looking around like, oh, that's not one of them? So the airport was wild recently. This comes from Nicholas Bogdanov. What do you consider the greatest performance of all time by an actor? Gender neutral term in a movie.
I appreciate him specifying that because I'm a pretty serious when it comes to that kind of stuff. I get offended pretty easily, but
that's what I've heard about you. That's what I researched about you. When I watched your special, I was like, this guy knows all his pronouns.
Yeah, that's something I am deeply involved with. My favorite, the best before, I think I got to say Robert De Niro in Raging Bull would probably be my number one. I mean, the weight loss, the weight gain, he's up and down, he's over and out. It's really something. I also love Al Pacino, Dog Day Afternoon. Those are my two favorite performances, I think. Is that good? Shit. Am I
That's
bombing?
Perfect. No, dude, you're doing great. That's literally, dude, anytime I do a podcast that's like a virtual or remote call, that is literally the thought inside my head after everything that I say. I'm like, am I bombing? Was that okay? Is this going all right? Because like when we're in person, you can tell more in person just by reading people's social cues and like their face and stuff because you're right next to them, how well the conversation is going. But when it's virtual like this, the entire time I'm just in my head and I'm just like,
maybe I shouldn't have said that. I hope Joe likes me. If I think about it, Joe and I really haven't had that many conversations before this interaction, so a lot is riding on this for me right now for the rest of our relationship. Hopefully he enjoys this. Hopefully he doesn't feel like this is dragging. Is he starting to wonder, like, is this one of those act outs that Jeremiah was talking about being an LA comic? Because I don't know if I'm digging this so much.
And so forth,
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because that nailed everything that's going on in my brain also. So that's terrific.
Let's see here. This comes from relevant_savant. Does anxiety ever work in your favor in life or on stage? Does anxiety ever work in your favor?
That's interesting. Well, I guess anxiety, years ago, I used to get a lot more anxious on stage and I'd be physically losing my mind. And I guess then it doesn't hurt so much because it's like, oh, the guy talking about anxiety, he's freaking out. You can see it. It's funny. So I guess that was good. I mean, I do think anxiety, the one positive of anxiety is it makes you very prepared. I'm very well prepared. I'm overpacked all the time. I'm really early for things. So it's good in that way, I guess. Although some might argue you could accomplish those things without being anxious. So no is the short answer, I guess.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm excited to ask you this question. This comes from vegan.seagull. What bad music do you like?
Well, I don't think it's bad, but like I love Jack Johnson. People make fun of me. They're like, "Whoa, we got a Jack Johnson, boo!" And I think he's fantastic. So that's something I guess there's a guilty pleasure. Jimmy Buffett, I think, is like one of the most underrated songwriters ever. I love Jimmy Buffett, but people think that because people think of like Cheeseburger in Paradise, and he's like a joke. But I think he's fantastic. So I guess do those qualify?
Those definitely qualify. Jack Johnson, he's the guy who sang. Is he the guy who sang? I think that's Jason Mraz. I think I get those guys confused. Jason Mraz and Jack Johnson. I think Jason Mraz is the guy who's like, open up your mind and say he like me. Is that Jack Johnson or is that Jason Mraz?
That's Jason Mraz. Yeah.
Okay. What's a Jack Johnson song?
Jack Johnson, his early hits were like la da 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 da, la da 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 da. That was like a big one. That was
okay. Now I know what you're talking
about. Maybe pretty much always means no. That was like a big one. It was very chill. It's very chill. He's like a Hawaiian surfer guy, but he keeps you on an even keel.
Yeah. Okay. And then Jimmy Buffett. Have you ever eaten at a Cheeseburger in Paradise?
Oh, yes, many times. I mean, I'm a Jimmy Buffett fanatic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a parrot head, is what you would call me.
I've eaten at the restaurant. Pretty good. Pretty solid food. With my family.
Decent.
Was it a super white trash outing? Yes, it was. Face on ahead. Question. Joe mentions how reckless he was growing up, getting drunk and jumping on cars and breaking pay toll barriers. Listening to this podcast, I can't imagine him doing that. What part of that reckless lifestyle still lives in him today, and how has he used it in his comedy career? That's an in-depth question.
Wow. Yeah, that's really profound.
La da 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 da, la da 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 da.
I'm still angry. Yeah, I got lots of anger. I try to subdue. I'm kind of a crazy person. I pretend not to be. I gotta listen to Jack Johnson so I don't break things. Yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of that anger and anxiety and temper, but I don't act out on it because I'm not drunk. I still want to fuck all the time, but I have a wife and I ask her politely if she'll fuck me. So
that's the game right there, dog. That's the game. I see you, Joe List, man. We playing that same game, dog.
Yeah, so it's still in there, I suppose, but much of it is gone. Of course, I've settled down. I'm older. I'm wiser.
Yeah. Do you like? I would, from like I said, we haven't actually had a ton of conversations really. Just a lot of it's funny. I think that we have the way that we've kind of passed along in the scene is we have been very like adjacent to each other. Like when I go to New York, I kind of like loosely see you around and stuff like that. But I'm getting to know you more like as this podcast kind of goes on. Like obviously this is like the longest conversation that we've had. But sometimes I think when guys are associated with being nice comics, they sometimes have like a fire or sometimes an anger buried deep within, and that's me for sure. Like I've got a switch that is very, very dormant, but then it will rise up every once in a while, and only a few people have really seen it, but it can be a thing.
Sure, yeah, I feel similarly, and I mean I've seen your slap fight on television, and that seemed like something. But yeah, I mean, definitely there's anger there, but I don't lose my mind as much anymore because I'm more even keeled, and I'll go into my room and yell at myself in the mirror or whatever instead of breaking things.
The visual of you just pointing at yourself in the mirror is very funny to me. Like, oh, why are you doing this, Joe? Come on.
It happens a lot. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time looking in mirrors being like, you piece of shit. Everyone hates you. You fucking loser. It's fun.
Do you ever say nice things to yourself in the mirror?
No, never.
Like any That's the epitome of an LA question and a New York response. Like, do you ever say nice things to yourself in the mirror? Like, no, dude. Why would I ever say that? Why would I say something nice to myself in the mirror?
Absolutely not.
This is kind of an interesting scene that somebody wants us to try to do together. This is PJ_Mara_77. Somebody wants us to try to do a scene together where we have to spell out our curse words.
Okay.
So I think there were a couple people who I think were angry about something, but we are not comfortable saying the curse word, so we have to spell it out like while we're venting to each other, if that makes sense.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
So this morning, I was at the post office in line for 2 FUCKING hours. And this lady wouldn't even give me the time of day.
Wow, I have been there before. I mean, it sounds like the same CUNT that I bumped into over at the grocery STORE the other day. I stepped in dog SHIT, and then I smeared it in this LADY's face, and I thought I'd spell some extra words just for fun.
Don't get me started on BITCHES's. I mean, seriously. I mean, where do these WHORES come from sometimes? Just out of the gutter? I'm trying to make eye contact with this lady at the post office. She's not giving me the time of DAY. I mean, do you know who you're dealing with? BASTARD?
Yeah, I mind shooting a little CUM into her face if she's gonna be acting out like a goddamn piece of SHIT again.
You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to punch her right in the ASSHOLE. Just clean right through. Just kick her right in the PUSSY. And just grab her NIPPLES and just say, "Who's the boss now, Tony Danza?"
And also FUCK her mother too.
Don't even get me started on MOTHERFUCKERS's. Oh.
I think we nailed it.
Dude, we nailed it. Dude, the scariest part, like, let me go back to telling you about, like, what was going through my head, like, all during that bit. Is literally
Really like, should I have ended that like a beat ago? I can't tell if there's a delay or if Joe is still enjoying this or not enjoying this. But I'm going to do one more beat and maybe he'll call it off after we do one more.
Again, I feel similarly, and I think there is a second delay. I think there's like a half a second delay.
So, dude, that second is soul crushing to me. It's literally like, as a comic, you know, we're always feeding off audiences and stuff. That 1 second, everything just
slows down tremendously.
Yeah, I'm having the same issue, and I keep being like, I need to kill myself as soon as this is over. That's how I'm feeling. There's a split second that you're like, that got nothing.
Dude, I haven't done any of the virtual Zoom shows while this has been going on because of just my fear with that. I'm like, I think I can wait. I think I can wait till, till social distance audiences are around again, or however we end up doing it, you know?
Yeah, I've done a couple things, and it's weird because sometimes also, like, your connection just sucks, and you're in the middle of a big act out or something, and then you look at the screen, and everyone's like this. Like, no one, everyone's like, we can't hear you. And then you're like, fuck, I just told like an 8-minute story. And they're like, no, you were muted.
You're like, but I crafted a perfect callback at the end of that story and it got nothing. Yeah, we don't have context for that.
Exactly.
Now, you're a big fan of Chipotle? Is that true? Because you mentioned it in your special, and then there was a lot of comments about Chipotle in the feed as well. So I want to touch on that before we go to Sax Talk.
Yeah, I love Chipotle. I eat there. I stopped eating there for a while because I had a acid reflux issue, but then I stopped caring about acid reflux and just dealing with it. And now I get a burrito delivered almost every day. And a long time ago, we started telling fans or encouraging fans to bring us Chipotle gift cards. And we've gotten about $7,000 worth of Chipotle gift cards over the years. It's insane. Like stacks of them. It's wild.
Have you gone anywhere close to like going through that amount? Like that's a lot of Chipotle. $7,000 worth of Chipotle cards.
Well, it's over the years, but yeah, we have, because it's over the years, and we both go all the time. Like I go several times a week,
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, and a lot of them are for 10, 15, 25 bucks, and then you use that, and then I'll spread it around a little bit. I'll go to Chipotle with 3 or 4 people and be like, they're all on me, baby.
That's awesome.
It's pretty
now,
great.
If you're an expert on Chipotle, obviously you have probably your go-to stuff. Is there any secrets or any tips that you can give to somebody who may be going to Chipotle soon? Because I love Chipotle, and that's one of the gifts that my mom will give me for Christmas time and stuff is a Chipotle gift card. So I'm always going there around the holidays and stuff.
Well, all I can say is I get a burrito, and the reason I used to always get a bowl because you can mix it up. You can mix and match. Where if they make a burrito, sometimes it'll be all rice on the bottom, and then your queso's on the top, and then you get a bite with all rice. But I didn't know this. You can request them to stir it up a little bit, and they hate you. They hate you for asking, but they will do it, and that allows it to be a little more better distributed. You get yourself a burrito. And I've also heard this, but I've never done this, is you order chicken or whatever it is, and you watch them scoop in the chicken, and then you wait till they're done scooping, and then you say, could I do double chicken? Because then they have to match that amount of chicken. Whereas if you just say double chicken before, they'll give you extra, but not quite
fully,
as much.
Yeah, the full quantity that is owed to you.
Exactly. It's not totally double. So you got to let them scoop the chicken. When they've completed the chicken scooping, then you say double.
Okay, that was exactly the tip that I was looking for. Something that I do that's slightly high maintenance, but it's just a taste thing, is I always ask for white rice with no cilantro, and they have a different section where they open it up from that's not laid out in front of you, that they will go to it, that they really don't like getting it for you, but you end up with more rice that way because they get a little cup and they're like, is that good? I go, can we do a little bit more rice? And then they do a full another cup of rice, and then you're packing in that burrito. And then you just, casually as I go in the line, I just go, I'm that guy who just looks at them. I look down at the food and I look up at them. I go, can I get a little bit more? without charging, because you don't want, I never want the double. They're like, oh, do you want double? I go, no. I just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Just like, come on, just a couple. And then they're like, all right. Okay.
Yeah, just a little between you and me. I do the same thing. I get extra rice, and sometimes I'll do this because I don't like beans. I'll say, "Can I get extra rice?" Because I'm not going to get beans. Like they give a fuck, but it does help. They do give you extra rice because you're like, to me, I'm like, I'm owed extra rice because I'm not taking the beans.
It's true. I mean, they look up at you and they're like, "No, this is a good guy." Whenever they hear that registers to them. They're like, "Okay, that checks out with me."
Yeah. So those are my hot Chipotle tips.
Hot Chipotle chips with Joe List. Let's round it out with this final segment. It's called Sax Talk.
Sax Talk.
Joe is going to share a story of a sexual encounter. I'm going to play some sweet, sweet saxophone underneath. It doesn't matter how graphic or innocent, whatever you're comfortable with. Whenever you're ready, I will follow you along with this sweet, sweet saxophone. Take it away, Joe.
Great. Okay, so one time I did a gig at City Steam in Hartford, Connecticut. And after the gig, a woman came up to me, and she was a sexy woman, and she was quite a bit older than I was. And she said, hey, why don't I take you back to my house? It's not too far away from here. And I said, okay, I'm down for that. And we got in her car, and she had like a really sexy, what do you call it? Like a sports car, it was a bright red sports car situation. We got into it, and she started driving very, very fast. Too fast, like 120 miles an hour, and she was playing Buck Cherry, crazy bitch, like hey, you're a crazy bitch, but you fuck so good you're on top of it. And when we got to her home, and she was a first class kook, this lady. She put on Buck Cherry again. She loved that song. And when she was making love to me, she kept calling me a nerd. She would shove me into the bed and say, "Fuck me, you fucking nerd." And then at one point, she said, "If you don't come, I'm going to be pissed." And that assured that I would not be coming. And I could not come, and she tried really hard to make me come, and she started to get very, very upset with me for not coming. And then eventually she just said, this was not what I expected. And she put me back in the car and drove me back to my hotel, once again, weaving in and out of traffic at about 90 miles an hour. That's the end of the story. I hope that's all right.
That was beautiful. That was exactly what I was looking for.
Did I do all right? I was worried that I was eating it again.
No, dude, it was great. Like the Buck Cherry, like I was searching for how to play Buck Cherry on the first half, and then once I like found it, I was like, oh, here we go. Take me down. That's so funny that was her go-to, like, oh, this is gonna set the mood. But also for you, it's setting the mood like, I think this bitch is crazy.
Yeah, she played it on repeat loud, and it was just that she's a crazy bitch, and it was too much sex. I used to do a bit about it, but it was like she was on top, like really just too much herky-jerky movement where it was quite unpleasant.
Just really getting in there.
Yeah, it was horrendous, but it was cool. She was sexy, but I think she wanted to like dominate me, and I was just too nervous. Like she wanted someone that looked nerdy but was a little more into the shit. I was like, actually, like, this sucks.
Was that the only time you've been called nerd during sex?
Yeah, I think so. I used to do a joke about it where I was like, well, I'm not actually a nerd. I just have glasses. Like, I'm just like a skinny guy. I'm kind of like, I like sports. I'm a bad student. I don't like sci-fi. I don't play chess. I'm kind of like, I'm kind of an idiot, like athlete guy.
I just have bad vision. Why am I being lumped in with all these other nerds over here?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't like Star Wars. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I just, I have, crooked teeth and glasses. And this lady's just like, you fucking nerd, you suck. And I wasn't into it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was kind of strangely abusive, actually.
You're like, now that I'm recalling this, every time I hear a saxophone, I'm going to be haunted by this story now.
Yeah, I'm a victim, as I realize in this moment.
Yeah. Dude, thank you so much for your time. I implore people to check out your new 1 hour special, I Hate Myself, for free on YouTube. Is there anything else that you'd like to plug before you go?
No, that's it. I mean, you mentioned Tuesdays with Stories. I do it every Tuesday with Mark. It's very silly and fun and funny. So check that out, and check out, I Hate Myself on YouTube. It's right now. You can go watch it right now.
Heck yeah. Technically, #1 special in the world right now.
Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'll take
Thanks
it.
so much, brother. I hope to that we can cross paths soon in New York or LA or at one of these festivals eventually. So stay safe, and appreciate your time.
Same to you. Thanks, Jeremiah. I appreciate it, man. It was fun.
Later, buddy.
See you, buddy.